Hi, my name is Daniela Tovar, and I'm an elementary education major, and I nominated Maria Cecilia Borrero. Okay, so Ms. Borrero was my cooperative teacher this fall 2021. She's from Colombia. I'm originally from Colombia as well. She left when she was like 25, 26 years old. She was a teacher already in Colombia, but then when she moved here, she was like literally just trying to make it work. And it has been a hard road for her. She always looked out for her students, and she fought for her students. She worked with Latino students, so she was literally like, okay, my students, they need this material, but this material is only in English. Let's translate this. So there's so much more to do in education for other cultures and even for Latino students. Love to be able just to provide and represent. I think that's the main word, represent students that are coming from other countries or like other cultures as well as me. Because she's like, look, I know my English is not perfect, but like she says that, but it's funny because she teaches, like she's teaching little kids. So sometimes I feel like she doesn't realize how good she is in her job and how important is her job like in the community right now, especially in LG.
Hi, my name is Mohamed. I'm an elementary education major and I nominate Miss Cheryl Janice. Overall, third grade was a big change, just given personal and socially, personally, everything was very different for me. But something about all of it made me love going to school. And I think Miss Janice was just the highlight of my third grade year. I think the first day of school, I remember that really well. Like, our families came to drop us off, and the teachers met the classes outside, and the way she just had us line up and took us into the building, it just felt like we were walking into like a new home, like a new family. I think I felt that a lot with Miss Janice. I felt like she was like my mom at school. The teacher matters so much. It was a hard year for me in terms of friends and fitting in, but just the teacher made me feel so welcome there that I wanted to be there. And as I grew up and I was looking for where my next place would be, like where I want to be for the rest of my life. And I explored. I looked at a lot of things, but when I came back to the classroom, it just kept giving me that sense of this is where I belong. And I think that really started in third grade. And even now, as I'm student teaching, I'm in the third grade classroom, and I'm so happy to tell everyone that I loved third grade, so now I'm here to teach third grade. I think my elementary school years were critical to me and my development and how I grew up, and I feel like they are just some of the most important years of a person's life, how that foundation is built, and that definitely is the reason why I went with elementary, because it's just they're just such critical years. When I'm thinking about what I can do to make their experience better, that's exactly what Janice did for me.
Hi, my name is Rita Rodriguez. I'm a secondary ed major in math, and I nominated Mr. Gordon. So Mr. Gordon was like very well aware of like how much I had to like help my family in terms of like having to work before school to help support my family. So I never fully told Mr. Gordon what was going on. He himself kind of like understood based off like how I was feeling in the classroom. Like I was feeling tired, I wasn't like paying too much attention, and that kind of person that like I'm just like very well at high school, at least I had so much energy. So he started seeing like a decline in like my participation, and I think he was one of the first teachers that asked how I was doing. I'd never been asked that before. It was just kind of like, let's get to this lesson and let's get through it and continue on. And he actually took the time once and he asked, how are you doing? And I said, not good. And then I started crying, and then I kind of like explained to him what was going on, because I just needed to vent. I just needed to like let it out, because I was just so like tired and just like I was just like, I think I was at the point I was just like almost thinking of dropping out of school. And just having like that male, like fatherly figure next to me saying like, it's okay, we're gonna get through this. I think that just like made the biggest difference. First I just had him for, I think it was some kind of social studies class. And then we went into this college bound class. Now that is when like my life was like turned to the best. College was not even like an option because my parents couldn't afford to go send me to college. But he gave me all the options. He prepared me. He helped me because 10 years ago you could have asked me to be a math teacher. I'm like, you're crazy. No, never. He kind of like, well, because this is the thing. I never knew what I wanted to be, but he pushed us to do scholarships, apply for schools. So in the back of my head, I was like, I'm going to do this for my teachers, for all those teachers that never gave up on me, even when I wanted to give up on myself. But I remember how I felt. And that's the feeling that I carry with me when I teach right now. And that's the feeling I want all my students to get out of my classroom.
Hi, my name is Megan Lund. I am a psychology major and I nominated Mr. Steve Johnson. It's like I went to a really small school. I graduated in a class of about 65, 70 students. So he was the only counselor that we had at my school. And then it just like, as I like aged, like probably by the time I was a sophomore, I just like started relying on him a bit more from like a real counselor aspect, I guess. I think about like the times when I had like problems in school, or if I was like even like remotely upset, thinking that like he was like the top person that like I ever wanted to like talk to at all. So he kind of like took on that role for me. And then as I was getting ready to graduate and figure out like where I wanted to go to school, like basically what I wanted to do with my life, he was very like supportive in that. He wrote, I think, every single college recommendation letter, really steered me into the direction of like where I am now. I'd say I was pretty interested in psychology before I met him. I've been interested in psychology for a really long time, but when I think about how like safe of a space he made it to like talk about like literally everything, it kind of helped me decide that like I would love to be that person for somebody else. Everybody for the most part was aware of the fact that he had cancer and was going through cancer treatment pretty much the entire time that I was in school. Like we would talk about his like appointments a lot just because it came up, but it never like impacted the way that he worked with everybody. Like he acted completely okay and healthy and normal the entire time that like I knew him. It was never something that was like an obstacle for him. Like if you didn't already know that he had cancer, you probably wouldn't know it just by like looking at him and how like energetic and happy and excited he was all the time. I know after I had graduated, it definitely, like the cancer treatments definitely took a toll on him, and he wasn't coming into school as much. And then I mean, he definitely was like my biggest impactor in school. I don't know what I would have done like without him at certain points. And I just like really appreciate him still. Like I think about him all the time.
Thank you so much, Ms. Borrero.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson.
Thank you, Ms. Janice.
Thank you, Mr. Gordon.